couple of these ones close.
Yeah, let's bring, do you want to get your self-portrait and bring it over? So we're gonna get the self-portrait in here. Yeah, let's hold this up to the camera because what we can do is we have a spotlight, so it's really picking up all of the colors and lights and shadows in a great way. So if I turn it this way, you can see how it's a little shiny. But what I'm gonna try and do is just bring it in, and we're gonna see if we can, through getting closer, you're gonna start to see the texture and the thickness of the paint. So hi everybody, welcome to Alizarin Cafe. I'm Eugene Clark and I have a special guest, Jeremy Lassila. And let me just tell you, Jeremy is an extraordinary artist. We have this painting right here and the painting behind Jeremy as two of his masterworks. But we have a lot more art. So you can see sitting on the table in front of me is a piece, several pieces, and then we have a whole other table full of work. So we're gonna dive in and talk to Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Hey, thanks
pretty wonderful day.
Yeah, thanks for making the trek.
I was really excited about this. So
Well, we're excited to have you. You made the trek all the way out here to our studios in Lake Orion, Michigan. This is called Moose Tree. It's a former nature center turned into an art.
is it? Oh, that's why it's so awesome.
Yeah. So
interesting.
we've got windows that pan across. It's a cool place to make art. I'm sure you're getting inspired and you're like, why can't we just paint and not talk?
Yeah, I just want to hang out here, really. Yeah.
And we do want to give a nod to our sponsor, Rochester Mills Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the red, which I'm just a big fan
Juice
of.
Bigelow. That was the other one.
Juice Bigelow. All
That's
right.
a good one.
Get the Juice Bigelow.
It's got a leopard pattern on it. This isn't that one, but it's an IPA. It's really
That's
good.
Jeremy's favorite. If you go and you throw his name around
That's a good one.
in there, they'll give you a free beer. Just
Sure they will. They don't even know who I am. I wouldn't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
hey, just give it a try. Give it a try. See, you got nothing to lose.
Mhm.
But cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
All right. So our meeting was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I would say about that. Yeah.
And our initial meeting, and you were a student at the College for Creative Studies in the illustration program.
Yep. Yeah.
And so, you know, the whole anatomy background that I have, I was able to, you know, sort of sprinkle a little bit of that into you. And then, look what happened.
Quite a bit more
Oh,
of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
And
surprised.
you know what's amazing to me is how, you know, illustration used to be this very specific looking type of work coming out of those programs at art schools, so that you could be like, oh, that's illustration. And they would never stray into
I
what
feel
I
like
call
Art Center has that. Like I can tell it's like the
Yes.
stuff that comes out of Art Center too.
Totally,
Yeah, yeah.
totally. And you would never see illustrators, I don't think, at least back when I was a student, go into what we would call the world of fine arts, but that's gone. Okay, that has been torn down and destroyed and built up in a new way. And look, this is what we have. You sell your work all over the place. You're exhibiting. You're a living, breathing, working artist. You know, I would say you have an illustration background, but I would say, you know, you're as much a fine artist. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but I wouldn't get too excited because I still have a day job. You know what I mean? I do work 40 hours a week.
You
And
know,
then I sell my work
that's
after work.
You know,
But I'm working my way up.
yes.
You know what I mean?
The
Yeah.
fact is
Yeah.
that you're prolific.
Yeah.
And
I am. I paint almost every day, but I take weeks off, you know, here and there.
that's okay. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, what we call, when you take those times off, we call that the incubation period.
Yeah, I need a break sometimes, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, the first thing I wanted to do on the Alizarin Cafe, and, you know, we're still in the infancy of this program. So bringing you on, it, to me, I feel is just like a highlight to start this, you know,
I
first
appreciate that.
season.
Well, I thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
such an
I
appreciation
have
for,
respect for you. So.
oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And here's one question that I feel like I've been throwing at each person that I've interviewed, but it's about creativity and the creative process. So I just want to give you a minute to talk to the viewers in an organic way and let them know, like, how do you feel about creativity? Like, where does it come from for you?
I think for me, it's it's something I have to do. It's not really like it comes out of anywhere. I just like have to do it. Um, and if I'm not doing it, I'm not very happy. So there's just, yeah, I mean, it's like this like feeling in my gut, and then I just have to do it. Like if I'm sad or upset or not feeling all right, it's usually because of that. It's usually because I'm not doing art, and I don't even notice it because I'll just be like busy and stuff, and then I'll be like, oh wait, I haven't painted anything in like a week or something, and I'm like, okay, this is why I'm feeling a little down, and it kind of bothers me sometimes that I rely on that to feel okay. So I mean, it
Well, it could be beer,
I
but you chose
know art is better. Art is better.
Well, it's a
But
little bit more
but
healthy.
you know what I mean. It's like, I just but I do, but I love it at the same time. So it's like I don't really, it doesn't really matter that, you know what I mean? But
So here's what I want to know. When did you first discover that that part of you existed where this growing desire, this feeling of, oh, I need to do this. I need to get this out in order to sort of, like you said, feel satisfied or to maybe just produce a certain level of happiness or satisfaction that maybe didn't come from anything else.
uh that's hard to say. But I think I needed it a lot in high school. And but I've been doing art my whole life, so I feel like maybe I've been using it my whole life. I just didn't know that I was doing it. I just really loved it. So I would draw all the time. I would and I didn't even get into painting until high school. Wow. So like mostly drawing Pokemon or whatever cartoon characters I was really into at the time. And then yeah, and then I picked up pastels in high school, which I did for a couple years. Uh, like I even went out and bought like a $300 pastel set that had every single color. Like I saved up my money in high school to buy that. And then I painted with those for like mostly just copying photographs. My dad had these like album covers like of Rodney Dangerfield and Cheech and Chong and stuff, and then I would like copy those. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at copying things, you know what I mean? And then
So
my
what age are we talking about? High school primarily?
this is I was probably 17, 17,
Okay.
16 maybe. At 16 I was started pastels, I think. And then right around like maybe 17 and a half, I started picking up oil paints because my art teacher is like I went to a secondary school in high school. So like half the time I go to high school and then half the time I go to like this advanced. It was AP classes but it was held at a different school.
Wow.
So
And what city?
that was at Oak Park, I think. Yeah, it was called CASA. So it's like Center for Advanced Studies in the Arts.
Very cool.
So I went there for half the time, and then my teacher there, Jerry Lemonu. Shout out to Jerry.
Jerry,
Jerry's awesome.
we hope you're watching.
Jerry's awesome. But he like not only introduced me to pastels, but then also introduced me to oil paint as well. And then I was like, I fell in love with it because I pastels felt easy to me. Like I could like because it's like you just grab the color, you do it, you got like so it was like I could copy photographs, which in my mind back then that was like art to me. So like I was like, I can copy this photograph pretty well with pastel. So like when I picked up oil paints, I was like, I can't do this with oil paint. And then I was like, why can't I? I need to figure out how and why I can't do it with this.
Instead of giving up.
Yeah. It was more exciting and like more problem solving for
Wow.
you know what I mean? And
See,
I thought those paintings were good back then. Looking back, I'm just like,
I
yeah.
feel like not everyone has that same outcome when it comes to that early frustration that you feel with a new medium,
Mhm.
where, at least for me, teaching in the college realm, students that are frustrated, they tend to say things like, I never want to paint with oil again.
Yeah, which is
And I'm like, oh,
disappointing.
because that first time
Everything
didn't
turned to
work
mud.
out.
Everything turned to mud.
I always say to them, hey, you don't see my first paintings, do you? Because I burnt them.
I threw a lot of mine out. You know, every single painting I did in senior studio, and I did like 5 of them, I cut them up and threw them in the garbage.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
No, but to me, I think,
I was trying to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it at the time.
and it's
And
that
it was
letting
really
go.
annoying. Yeah,
right? Isn't it?
yeah,
Because we treat everything we do so precious, especially early on in our career, meaning because we don't have the history, we don't understand that we can actually do this again, but do it better.
yeah, yeah, totally, yeah.
So we tend to hold on to it and treat it as precious instead of
This is why I paint on cardboard. Yeah,
painting on cardboard. So alternative materials, that's why I put that because the tendency is for people to paint on canvas, right? If you're using oil,
yeah,
right? The typical scenario is you're going to get a stretched canvas and let's go to town and work that
yeah.
way. Because first of all, I think when people work on a stretched canvas, it actually makes them feel more like they're actually an artist.
Yeah, or if you're really balling, get some linen, you know?
Right. Linen instead of canvas, which costs more. It's like butter, you
Yeah,
know,
it's so good.
you love it, and you put the rabbit skin glue on there, and all that cool stuff. But then there you discover that you can gesso just about anything.
Yeah, you can, yep.
And so suddenly, you start painting on things like
Cardboard, yeah.
cardboard, which I find super
I have a
fascinating.
giant painting of a nude male figure, and it's on a giant box that I got from my bed box frame. Yeah, yeah,
Beautiful.
I should have
So,
brought that, but actually we would have had to block out the jump.
That's right. We would blur that section out. That's okay. We don't mind.
Yeah,
We don't mind creative editing.
yeah,
But it's so great, first of all, to um, be watching what you're doing through your online presence. And I say that with the greatest admiration and intention because,
hey,
I really feel like you have set a precedence for probably a lot of artists that will now learn from you and hopefully follow in your footsteps and understand, the power, the importance of your approaches, and understand that, you're not just one thing. That's what I think is so fascinating to me, to see the style of these two portraits. They look so good together, but yet they each stand on their own as so uniquely different. And one of the things that you're doing, like for example, when you take the the clothing, like the shirt here,
yeah,
and you do something like what you're doing here, which to me is you're creating a quiet space, and your intention of that is to allow the viewer to want to look up here at the face and of course what's around the head, and then you have some accents over here. But to play this shirt down, we say playing it down when there's not a lot of details. So you have color that is enriched, you have this expansive color. So what I learn when I'm looking at that is I think back to what we call color field painters from like the
yeah,
abstract
yeah,
period.
I've heard it, yep.
And so some
Is
of those,
Rothko in there? Is that, or is
yeah,
that a different, is
Rothko
that
would
a
be,
different, is
no,
that a
Rothko
different,
would
okay.
be in there and
I love Rothko.
yeah, and when you're looking at the field painters, there was nothing recognizable in there. It was expanse of color on large scale canvases. And so you're bringing some of that into this figure piece when you do this, And so that's how I see that. But yeah, one thing that the camera is not going to do justice for this piece or any of your work is the impasto, the buildup of the paint.
Gotcha.
So how many layers would
We
you
can show a
say?
couple of these ones close.
Yeah, let's bring, do you want to get your self-portrait,
Yeah.
bring it over? So we're gonna get the self-portrait in here and yeah, let's hold this up to the camera. Because what we can do is we have a spotlight, so it's really picking up all of the colors and lights and shadows in a great way. So if I turn it this way, you can see how it's a little shiny. But what I'm gonna try and do is just bring it in
Yeah,
and we're gonna see if we can, through getting
forehead's a good
closer,
spot.
you're gonna start to see the texture and the thickness of the paint. So talk to us a little bit about your approach.
Well, the first thing that I did is I stopped use when I first started painting, I didn't really know that turpentine was bad for you, or like that it has like, because I was using turpentine or like mineral spirits or whatever. So once I figured that out, I was like, man, I'm gonna stick to just using oil. like walnut oil, linseed oil. And I oftentimes don't even use that. So it ends up being just like paint straight out of the tube, which when, you mix it even with a brush, like because you're not thinning it down with thinner, it just builds and builds and builds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just keeps building up. And so that's kind of where the thickness comes from,
Yeah.
And I was really into like the California painters like Sean Cheatham and all those guys too, which have a very painterly look, what's that other guy who wrote that book? I can't remember. Alla Prima, he wrote Alla Prima. What's his name? It's escaping my mind right
escaping
now. But those guys where it's just like very fresh and loose. So I was really influenced by them in college, and then that's just kind of carried into this other thing that I'm doing now with more impasto painting. Yeah.
So it feels very natural what I'm looking at of yours. And so I'm going to hand this to you because I'm going to show one of these landscape paintings here. So you've been getting outside.
Oh man, the summer that just passed, I was outside all the time. It was amazing. I actually haven't done a lot of landscape painting until
This will show you, he
this summer.
signs the back and it gives you the date. I mean, the year 25. He did that this year. And he tells you the size, and he's got it titled and signed when you purchase something like this from Jeremy. And I went to see your exhibit at the Arts Beats and Eats,
Oh yeah,
which
you
was
were there.
amazing.
Thank
You
you
had
for
an
coming to see
amazing
that.
showing. That wasn't your first go around. You had done that
Few times.
a few times. And then what are some other exhibitions like that type that you've done?
Arts Beats and Eats, Funky Ferndale. I did Birmingham one time. That was a good one. Uh, Milford. Milford was a beautiful one. That's a gorgeous area. Yeah, and like they set up the show like right in front of this like pond. So it's like the pond is across the street.
Like
and
this
we're
setting
hanging
right
out
here.
yeah, similar to that. Yeah.
Where was this, by the way?
That was at Stony Creek.
Oh,
Yeah,
so gorgeous.
Stony Creek.
Now, I remember talking to you about Independence Oaks, which is out here near Lake Orion, and at the time I mentioned it, I remember you saying you hadn't heard of it. So, if you're up for it,
Where's that? What is it?
It's near here. It's just a little county park.
Oh, okay,
It's
cool.
called Independence Oaks. It's got a lake. It's got
Okay.
a nice trail, and
Cool.
we could set up our easels.
Let's
and
go.
some
Yeah.
paintings. So
We
we're
haven't
gonna
painted together yet.
yeah,
that'd
and
be-
we're
that'd be great.
gonna probably turn that into an episode.
Yeah, we should. We should go out
So,
to turn it. I'll bring
plein air
my
episode.
camera too. We'll make some.
We'll do a
videos.
2-camera shoot. It'll be
Yeah,
awesome.
That'd be sweet.
So that's to be coming up. But one more time, a shout out to our special sponsors today, Rochester Mills Brewing. We've got the Rochester Red.
It's actually a good one.
Thank
It's kinda-
you,
it's
Rochester
kinda-
Mills.
It's chill. It doesn't have that IPA sharpness, but it's good.
Yeah, and I have to say, I try to keep the alcohol content right around 5 because I have to drive. All right, I have to drive.
One of the ingredients is biscuit. I wonder what that means.
Hey, I'm not going to drink it if it's not biscuit.
I don't want biscuits in my beer.
That's probably the version, our version of kids going 6, 7.
Biscuit.
We go biscuit. All right. Well, listen, this has been a great episode, but Jeremy has agreed to come back for another episode. So we're just going to say goodbye for now. The one, the only, Jeremy Lassila. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.